He followed the other two Firehawks back into camp. They were the massive Type 1 juggernauts of the heli-attack firefighting world, able to deliver 1,000 gallons of water and foam or retardant to a wildfire. Only a few helicopters could carry more, and those were all far less agile machines. This chopper ruled the wildfire heli-attack sweet spot. The Mount Hood Aviation Firehawks were painted gloss black, and with the red and orange racing flames of the MHA logo running from the nose down the sides, they looked as cool and powerful as they really were. The Firehawks were built from Sikorsky Black Hawk helicopters. Each one was an 8-foot-high, 10-foot-wide, and 40-foot-long, nasty-looking machine. Blackhawks, no matter how prettily painted, always appeared to be looking for a fight. They were the tough boys on the block, even if the two in front of him were flown by women. Emily, ex-military and kind of terrifying, truth be told, and Jeannie, one of the most competent and prettiest flyers he'd ever met. How in the hell had some photographer guy snapped her up? Jeannie was awesome. Not that they'd ever done more than fly together. It wasn't like that between them. But seeing her look so damn happy emphasized how totally lame his own relationships had been. Closing his eyes for a moment, Vern braced himself. Stepping on the rudder pedal, he twisted the tail of the 5-ton helicraft to the side, then shifted the cyclic joystick in his right hand to compensate. Again, it felt completely normal, proving that the backup hydraulic system was indeed operational, even if his breathing still sounded harsh over the headset and microphone system he wore. He remained in formation with the other choppers, but now flew mostly sideways in order to look behind him. He opened one eye. A cloud of black smoke was streaming from his chopper. No sign of a fire warning on the instrument panel, so it was just the burning off of some hydraulic fluid that had spilled before the pressure loss was detected and he'd shut down the pump. They were under 2 minutes from Mount Hood Aviation's Hoodie 1 base camp. Not enough time to burn everything off. Thankfully, none of the fumes, nasty astringent stuff, had leaked into the cabin. Vern realigned the controls to once again face forward and retain his position in the flight. He also managed to convince his breathing that he was back in control. The MHA airfield and base camp lay less than a mile ahead now. They were perched low on the northern side of the towering mass of Mount Hood, 11,000 feet of dormant, mostly ice-capped volcano. The airfield was easy to miss among the towering fir trees and the vibrant yellows and reds of September aspens and maples. It was the end of day, so the mountain's shadow already lay long across the camp, and the grass airstrip was not empty like he'd hoped. The 4 smaller choppers of MHA's 7-bird fleet had already returned, parked along the north side of the strip close to the towering Douglas fir trees that defined that side of the base. Pilots and ground crew were milling around them. Along the other side of the field were the low buildings of the long-defunct kids' summer camp that MHA had taken over. Though much of the structure's dark wood was covered with green moss, like so much else in the Pacific Northwest, the buildings were dry and warm inside. But were the other pilots, ground crew, and smoke jumpers tucked away safe and warm? No such luck. They seemed to think that just because it was a beautiful late September afternoon, everyone should be out at the cluster of picnic tables that served as the camp's main hangout. As he neared, he could see the dots of their bright faces turning like damned daisies following the sun, all tracking the path of his smoking flight. And sure enough, the nightmare awaited. There at the end of the row of 4 already parked choppers and the 2 smoke jumper delivery planes was the maintenance truck. In front of the truck stood 5 feet and 4 inches of livid woman with dark blonde hair down her back, her feet planted as if part of the mountain's basalt shield. Though not close enough to see, he knew she'd be standing with her arms crossed over one of the nicest chests he'd ever seen. He could feel the burn of her glare at 1,000 yards out. Vern followed the other 2 Firehawks in for a landing, Denise coming into focus as he approached. Jeans, t-shirt, and a canvas vest that had once been beige before it spent years being worn around broken helicopters. She wore a tool belt like an Old West gunslinger. Damn, she was gorgeous and cute at the same time, and about the most unapproachable woman he'd ever met. A single drop of salt